Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly referee today, because today we're carrying on with our ongoing campaign of playing Mongoose Publishing's outstanding fantasy sci-fi RPG, Traveler, 2nd edition. And we are playing with elements that are from the Borderland Run module, that is Reach Adventure number 5, and with material from the Pirates. So I've got it here, Pirates of Drinax box set. So if you're intent on playing either of those modules, there may be some elements in today's session that'll spoil contents of those two adventures. So proceed with caution. If you do not care about those spoilers, or if you've played through them before, well then welcome. Let me introduce you to the crew of the Rift Wanderer. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got Graham.
Hi, I am Graham, and I am playing Laris Zathu, who is a Darien out in the Borderlands and Drinax, and I can't tell you how much he is looking forward to speaking to Princess Rao. I really cannot tell you. I can't.
Definitely. Next up is Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Anchor Gavel, who is a Vargur, which is an uplifted canine species, but he is an Imperial trained Vargur. He served in the Imperial Navy. He's the pilot of the Rift Wanderer.
Nice. Next up is David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm playing Dr. Elias Abdel, gifted physician, part owner of the Rift Wanderer, and someone who is looking forward to the food being served, if not necessarily the conversation we're
True. And last, but certainly not least, is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Alonzo Santoro. He is a journalist and powerful psychic, as we all witnessed last episode.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
He's we used combat drugs, I think, or no, it was Laris used combat drugs at one point, and Alonzo used psychic combat drugs. So I think very slowly getting to the all super soldier crew here.
Oh yeah.
So apologies for those listening at home for the late start. We had some tech issues before we got going, and then we also wanted to be sure to wish Graham a very happy birthday, because today is his birthday as well too. So happy birthday to Graham. Guys, what happened last time? Last session was a eventful one, and I think I've got one handout that will be particularly helpful here. Where? Oh, I'm in the wrong thing here. I looked at the right screen, the tab that has all your handouts and characters and whatnot on it, thinking it was the sheet that had all my different photos on it, or like the images I've loaded into the game, because I thought there's no way I would just name something Deathbot ! But turns out I did. So guys, what happened last time? I have some other images to assist with that. There's the conveyor, and some of these images will be of course, pre-Deathbot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we need to see the post-Deathbot images.
No. I mean, I'm not sure. Do I have an ashtray illustration anywhere here? What happened last time, guys?
See Star Wars A New Hope.
Yeah, really.
After much deliberation and hand-wringing and second-guessing, we finally put a plan into motion to deal with to rescue Evie.
Yeah.
And also navigate the Byzantine space politics of Drinax and the wishes of Princess Rao. And we sort of decided to be a little bit rebellious and not go along fully with Princess Rao's plan.
What was her plan?
Of course, she was very keen on killing the Zuldani agents. And we were a bit like, that's not really our style, we're not cold-blooded assassins. Rumors to the contrary. So we decided to sort of try and resolve the situation peacefully if possible, and then run for it before Princess Rao could get really angry at us. But we did go to the hangar as discussed with her. Met some people lying in wait. I think Alonso was on sniper duty. Laris was on looping security footage duty so that Princess Rao wouldn't immediately know we're not following her orders. And Alonso led on negotiation with his fellow telepath, which was remarkably well. They were actually weirdly nice about it all and restrained, and no one got teleported into the sun or had their brain fried. So
no one got teleported into the sun or their brain fried yet.
And after some back and forth that we weren't all privy to because they were speaking to each other in their minds, they seemed to understand the severity of the situation and handed Evie over to us.
Yeah.
Was concerned for her well-being. Yeah, peacefully. Yeah, it was all very sort of maybe going too well. And then I think Alonso at one stage noticed that one of the sort of general crew in the hangar was a bit nervous and opened his own psychic powers and got just like an image of Death Bod. And then moments later, a secluded door opened and an actual Death Bod appeared and just killed both of these Uldani agents.
Yeah.
And then glowered at us, despite not really having eyes, having made its point. But we were able to take Evie back to meet Solomon.
Yeah.
And then we decided that we wouldn't do the runner because Princess Rao got what she wanted. We got what we wanted, so probably best not to do a runner and be wanted by the authorities here. Maybe see how it plays out, seeing as both sides got what they wanted.
Yeah, and
then we got an invitation for dinner.
That is true. You guys also, you did see one of the agents, I guess, undid whatever conditioning that had been imposed on Evie as well.
Ah, right.
Yes, there was a moment where her demeanor changed and she seemed to become suddenly sort of more aware of her surroundings or more scared.
Yeah.
So she's spending time with Solomon now, with someone she sort of knows from her home world. But I think we also discussed to help smooth things over with the princess, we would give her some of the data that we had gathered on the Sudani spy network, but not all of the data, because we didn't want to endanger the actual people like Evie being smuggled and all of that. So there's some redaction going on.
Okay.
And I think it's a shame that the captain is missing this, but I think we also decided not to let the captain pass information on to the Imperium. But that was a point of discussion because the Imperium is slightly unenlightened about telepath and people with those gifts.
Yeah. Was it that you corrupted it or that you altered it? I'm trying to remember what you guys did to that data.
Was it a redaction?
So I think for the bit we were going to give to Princess Rao, we redacted bits.
Yeah.
I don't think we've actually put anything in motion in regards to what the captain might hand over to Imperial friends. Unless we give him the same file to hand over with the same redaction.
Okay. Anything else we're missing here? I think that I'm not saying that there is anything necessarily missing from that excellent summary, but is there anything else that is missing here?
I think Captain Gani would pick up that the file was redacted. I think, although it was as smooth as possible, I think he'll know that we haven't given him, the sort of complete information. I think we'll be clear about that. He's not here to speak. But,
Yeah.
I think that might be something we pick up later.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Then, before we dive into our session, why doesn't everyone give us a luck roll? Let's see how much luck we're working with today.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Alonso.
Very nice. Okay. So, we are picking up with the crew at the Rift Wanderer. Solomon and Evie have been reunited. You were still waiting for the Peerless Passage ship to arrive in, I believe, like 2 days. Might be 1 day. Did we ever actually say how much time? We knew that was arriving afterwards.
Was it about a day?
Yeah, I thought it was about...
It was due to arrive about a day and a half after the artisan conveyor.
Got it. Okay, so it'll be... Yeah, so it'll probably be like early 2 days from now is when it'll arrive. So, Solomon will, I guess, ask the doctor to give Evie a check over to see if there's anything, you know, anything to be concerned about, any odd, you know, physiological changes, make sure they didn't, I don't know, alter her in any way.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Okay. It's a DC 4 medicine check, so I guess just don't roll snake eyes. Yeah. So because I think you are familiar with, or you have been recently familiar with, kind of looking into the biochemistry, the biochemical changes associated with psionics, either like augmenting them or suppressing them or whatever, what you'll find is she has in her system a fair bit of, it is not the same crude stuff that Solomon was using to suppress his abilities, but it's not dissimilar to it. So it's almost as if they, you know, I mean, there's a couple of ways you could think about that, I guess, is for one, to make sure that like relatively older and untrained psychic would not accidentally hurt herself or others while she's going through a traumatic, you know, experience. A more sinister way of thinking of it would be that it's someone who suppressed psychic abilities to make it more, make them a more malleable recipient of other psychic influences. If you have your psychic abilities suppressed, the kind of default shields that most telepaths put up, for instance, would be gone. So the fact that you're not wrong, that we talked about this last time, I guess, like if you are, someone is a telepath, or I believe anyone's got any psychic abilities, because you use your psi to resist those kind of influences, you're going to be more likely to resist what, you know, what other psychics are trying to do to you. So the kind of extensive personality reworking they did to the parents and to the other people back on Evie's homeworld, it would be more challenging if she was a powerful psychic. But if you suppress those abilities and then went in and reworked things, that would be a wholly different matter. It may also mean why it was so easy to rework her. So as far as you can tell medically, otherwise, notwithstanding her psychic abilities being suppressed, she's fine. And at least from what you can tell, there should be no difficulty with her recovering her abilities once she stops using the things. And I think you might be able to assist with the deleterious impact of kind of as those come back.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Same for Solomon, if he wants to get rid of the blockers now, I'll adjust so that they can slowly wean themselves off and not have any massive withdrawal symptoms.
It's got to be like, imagine the disorienting combination of like, you know, it's kind of like local anesthetic coming off in an area combined with a ever increasing hangover. where you're having the sensations coming back, but they're not quite right, and they're still kind of warped. It's a very unpleasant sensation. So you're going to be, with that good of a roll, you'll be able to likewise coordinate something, some kind of cocktail to take that edge off.
Nice.
With that, he's going to get AV to set down, but then it's up to you guys. I think he is a detective, so he's kind of looking over, and I imagine that at least one of you does not have a terribly effective poker face. And he says, did it go well? I trust not. If so, what happened?
Well, Princess Rao. Sorry, do go on. Do go on. See how you can describe it.
I don't want to describe it. There was a machine that was sent. A death bot? Yes, it dispatched the Zidanis. Unfortunately, right in front of us.
The transaction was a success prior to that. And peacefully, the mission would have been a success. The royalty of Drinax did not want them to leave system, and so dealt with them.
When you say the royalty, Rao or the king?
The same. Well,
does raise the interesting point of what will happen to the bonhomme.
I think Solomon, once again, for the brief reunion with Evie, we're back in color, but now we're back in black and white again. Heavy shadow over his fedora, or coming cast by his fedora over his eyes. He says, I don't give a damn what happens to them.
Understandable.
Yes.
Will there be fallout from this? Was there a death
Possibly.
spot involved in your plans?
No, I think it was a backup of the case. Things didn't go according to someone else's plan.
Right.
There should be no fallout for you or Evie, hopefully. For us, I guess we'll know after dinner.
I have no appetite.
You better work on that, Laris. I believe in most circumstances it's considered incredibly rude not to eat the delicious food you're being served by royalty.
I'll stuff it back. Fair point.
Yeah.
So this... The princess wanted things to resolve differently than what you were intending on doing. Is that? And she's...
Yes.
Yeah.
And she has now invited you to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know. Say it. Go on, you want to.
This one really likes to play with her food.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Too right.
So Yuri says, if they have not invited me, perhaps they were unaware of my presence there.
Perhaps.
Maybe, yeah.
The court of Drinax can be quite ruthless. The king, in particular, the need to conquer their agricultural rival, for instance, was utterly unnecessary. A wasteful expenditure of resources to conquer something that could have likely been taken by treaty, particularly given the injuries sustained to the prince as a result of same. But he is not capriciously cruel, nor have I known him to be, in the limited exposure I had, violent. It's unusual that they would force their hands, particularly when in this region, they do not seem to have any clear, powerful allies beyond your intercessor. Why would he do this? Does it avoid attention for him?
Maybe.
It could maybe help cement an alliance with the intercessor. We're not speculate that the intercessor is on the run. Possibly on the run from the Zodani. This could be a gesture of, I'll take care of your problems, you take care of my problems.
I'd speculated if he was just making a signal, sending a signal that you can undertake clandestine operations as you will, but if you do that on our territory, without sufficient an understanding, that will not pass. It does feel peremptory, doesn't it?
And seeming to be at cross purposes. If those are the two intended purposes, one draws attention to oneself by sending a message, do they not? Which would think that might draw further scrutiny by the Zodani in this region, which...
They must have, agreed. They must have calculated for that, though. They must have known that by doing this, it would create a message. They're bright enough.
Have you met with the king this time?
No.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
And I trust that the prince, given his condition, he has not met with you either?
No.
So only Princess Rao.
You say you're thinking it's more her than him?
If we are trying to reconcile why there are two competing and conflicting interests at play, attributing them to two separate individuals would certainly reconcile that seeming inconsistency.
She was unequivocal when we met her about what her designs were, and they were pretty lethal.
And when she spoke of her interests, not her father's.
Well, yeah. I think so. You could interpret it that her interests are, of course, the same as her father's.
Indeed.
Could.
Is, as far as succession is concerned, of course, the prince would be first in line, notwithstanding the lingering impact of his injuries. Indeed, I mentioned when I last came, he was still undertaking treatment for those injuries. With him returned, and with Rao's apparent clear line to succession disrupted, familial struggles between siblings is a storied recreational activity among royal heirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh dear.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I wonder what... What position do you suspect she finds herself now?
Interesting.
There's a chance she's pushing too hard.
I think it will be a curious dinner.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it.
Though one
Yeah.
I must admit, not disappointed to be avoiding.
Do you need a friend? I'll stick around.
So, Ultima One has nothing further to ask of you guys, but do you guys wish to do anything?
I have a question for Ultima One. What does he know about these death bots?
The death bots.
Yeah, I mean, who controls them? How are they controlled?
I
Yep.
must confess, I know very little of Sindalan history. I think from last time, I think it was Laris who actually, because of his his dealings with the person who was looking into the Sindalan Empire, the Deathbots are they have a degree of autonomy. Let's see, they're not like remote piloted, you know. They're not mecha. I've got that for a later adventure, guys.
Yeah, I think Iris definitely was able to tell us it's essentially a big show because it's like a priceless relic.
Yeah.
This could have been achieved by having people with guns or snipers. There was not necessarily a need to
overkill.
go like, look at my shiny death robot.
Yeah.
Of course, that was part of the message and the thing being.
Yeah. Yeah, and the not for nothing, the phrase Deathbot is an actual designation. There's no ambiguity as to what these things were used for in the Sindalan Empire.
Right.
And not for nothing, the two laser carbines, those are what are intended to be the anti-personnel equipment. The plasma guns that were used, those are generally intended to be used on armored vehicles.
Oh, wow.
So they
Relatively indiscriminate, yes.
so it was if there was any question about the show of force, it definitely yeah.
It was over.
Well, I look forward to seeing what job offer we're going to get from, if any. I can't wait.
Right.
It's an engineering task we have for you, something that is very important. We need to be calibrating the targeting sensors on our death bot. So,
Right.
What do you guys do with your evenings? You've got the appointment for dinner tomorrow, which will be the night before the Peerless Passage ship arrives then. What do you guys want to do?
Press my trousers. Make sure I've had a good wash.
Okay.
Scrub up. A little bit of cologne. Flowers? I think flowers, because I'm dying to see the withering look she'll give me when I give her some fresh flowers.
Flowers
really
would
funny.
be, that is one of the things that would be quite expensive in the the floating palace. Only because the lack of available land, right? And then the surface of Drinax is kind of a blasted wasteland. Anything you guys wish to do between? So we'll say everyone's splitting up right now. You're back from the mission. Anything happened this evening that is of interest? Solomon and Evie will be gone for the evening. She'll get her settled in her cabin, and then he will go and collapse in his. What about the rest of you guys?
Dr. Elias will update his will and send a letter home.
Yeah. Good.
Well, it's nice you've got a will to send to somebody. That's all I can say. Well done. Prince of Men.
I think Alonso will be sitting in the lounge and having a few drinks and probably writing down his experience, because he wants to have the fresh words so that he could use them in a novel or something in the future, but sort of his feelings and the visceral nature of the experience. Well, and I think to get it out on the paper helps him.
Well, speaking of, like, you had your normal psychic abilities jacked up and augmented for that period, and it's two potent psychics who suddenly, violently, and painfully ended. So you may very well have had exposure to that experience that is significantly more traumatic than what others would have experienced. Not to undercut what they would have witnessed, but you may very well have had the death wail of both of those powerful telepaths.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah.
Is he a pen and paper guy, or does he use like a tablet he writes on, or does he type?
He's probably got a laptop, but he's programmed the mechanical keyboard sounds into the keyboard so that when he sits there and types it makes the sound like an old typewriter.
Yeah.
But
okay,
he's actually on some kind of a laptop or something. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else in the lounge is like, can you put that on fucking mute, please?
Yeah. Annoying. This.
For a very brief time, my son used to have as his message, like whenever a message came in or whatever notification thing on his phone, it was the sound of R2, that like yow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. We'd be out and and then yow as he'd be getting one or two messages, and like the whole crowd around would be turning to look to see what the hell was going on. Oh my god,
that's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah. What do you call it? Yeah, so then you're working on that. Dr. Ilias is updating his will. Anchor and Laris, what are you guys doing for with your evening?
Well, Anchor is going to get on his virtual, what is it, conspiracy board,
Yeah.
and then start putting tags and connections between the Court of Drinax, Jodani, the Intercessor. Trying to figure out how these are interconnected, and right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
working on his conspiracy board.
And Laris?
Yeah, I think we can't be preemptive in terms of what we're going to do. So Laris would have lost himself in admin. He'd have been working out passage, mail, possibly some freight stowage just for our next journey. But really, we can't do that until we've spoken to the princess and whoever else appears at that particular meal. So I think actually what he would do is he would spend some time in the city. I think he would perhaps return to looking at some of the art and some of the gardens and actually decompress a little bit from the activities that we've just undertaken and just clear his mind. I think that's what he would do.
I may have mentioned it as well too, but Ricardo's Bazaar is open until 9. So
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and to be truth told, like there is, if you're looking to lose yourself in a crowd, there's few places in Charted Space as rich in opportunities to stop and drink in tiny little bits of, fascinating, unique elements than there is in the floating palace of King Oleb. The evening passes uneventfully. Otherwise, there's no further trouble. Although, you know what, guys? I just noticed something. Did you happen to see that there are gravity dungeons in this place? Huh. Accessible near the Starguard barracks. That's... Huh. Anyway, the morning, you guys will have a day to kill before you go to your dinner with Destiny. Anything you guys wish to do during the day?
Repeat more of the same.
Okay, so Laris is out and about.
Yeah.
Killing time away.
Enjoy some bars, enjoy some arts, enjoy some gardens, maybe talk to some people, but just literally just enjoy the splendor of this place.
And there is some if you're also being loose with your credits while doing so, there's some amazing opportunities to try cuisine from all over and from extinct species, from extinct cultures. If you wish to spend some quieter time in the the Scholar's Tower, there's also all sorts of bit
of both. Just enjoy the place. Yeah, enjoy the tastes, the sights, the sounds.
Okay.
The information, all of it.
Plenty of opportunities between the food, the crush of the bazaar, the splendor in the park, and the cultural opportunities in the Scholar's Tower. Like there's just the day will very easily fly by for you.
Nice.
Anchor, Dr. Ilias, and Alonso, what are you guys doing? Are you still writing, Alonso?
Yeah, probably. And he's probably getting a little bit drunk at this point before dinner, unfortunately.
Okay.
Nice.
Excellent. Dr. Ilias?
I think Dr. Ilias will be at the Scholar's Tower and just sort of immerse himself in some research, get some updates on genetics, or latest breakthroughs in medicine. He'll probably do a little bit of research on the work of the Peerless Passage founder. Name again?
Billings Doherty.
Doherty, yeah. He'll look a little bit at his not like sort of Instagram stalking what he's been up to, and more like the research he's done and refamiliarize himself with his actual medical work.
Sure. Yeah, and they definitely have access to because his work was sector-wide influential and unsurprisingly, epidemiology is a thing that kind of is when you have a tiny packed community, you're going to be wanting to be very cautious about those kind of things, especially when you're carrying on the legacy of, well, for two things. For one, when you're carrying on the legacy of the Sindalan Empire into the modern day, and two, when you're having a relatively shallow genetic pool, a rare illness can disproportionately affect a wide part of your population if you're not careful. So yeah, you're definitely able to find information about that. What about you, Anchor? Anything you wish to do with your day?
He's gonna do like standard maintenance stuff, but I wonder if it's worth getting on like some sort of pilot simulator and seeing how to get out of here quickly.
Yeah, you could do that. I think with Laris's gift for computers, you certainly could have him bang something together that would be quite accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You remember there's that scene in The Expanse where he keeps running the simulators and the ship keeps getting fucking blown up over and over again. The floating palace is not without its own defenses, so I imagine there's it's pretty much into the 100th run. You're like, okay, no, now it's this time. I got it.
Also, did they ever do anything about the ship with that ex-Navy guy who
the Bonhomme
was pro-Jodon? Yeah, the Bonhomme. Is it still around?
If you check in on it, the Bonhomme seems to still be in the spaceport, suggesting either they're not aware of what happened, or they are aware and are not able to leave.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Are you doing anything further to investigate that, or you did make a exceptionally good impression on the captain?
I mean, I guess I could play. How good am I at playing dumb? Yeah, I think I'll check in and say, hey, is everything all right? How are things going? When are you guys going to leave? I thought you didn't. Are they overdue from their leave, or do we know that?
No, you don't. I don't think he discussed when they were departing. That is the one area there that he would have been stum about.
Okay. That probably would have been. I'll just check in and see how things are going. Are we going to get that game of reenacting the Imperial Civil War again?
Yeah. The anger with which your host was like, "Don't bring board games next time."
We just have them on our little hand computers. How can we not? Anyway.
Absolutely. Okay, so then why don't you? Wait.
Oh, because you know what? He's also good at small ship tactics. So maybe escaping from enemy fire, superior enemy fire could help. Anyway.
Yeah, ideas. I mean, it's possible that. Let's see here. If you want to send a word to him, because you could even call him. Like, you guys are on the same kind of like local, whatever. So you could call him from the comm unit in your quarters, I imagine.
Right. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I'll do it. So since we've been running these simulations, I'm going to ask him, since he knows small ship tactics. So me and my fellow crewmen are running these simulations about how to avoid superior gunfire if you're in a small ship, and I know that we have a local expert on board. Sure.
Why don't you give us a carousing check, please, Anchor?
Oh, of course.
Difficulty would be an 8.
I don't have carousing,
but I'll give you a boon because you have made a really good impression on him.
Okay. I don't have the skill. How do I roll it?
So you're just rolling sock then at -3 with a boon.
With a boon. Okay. With a boon. How close did we get? Oh, so close.
So it'll be 1 luck.
Can I borrow luck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. All right. That was pretty good. Just good rolls.
So you call him up, and I think what you pick up is, I mean, he kind of has the old warhorse demeanor of that anyone asking him things is putting him out. So you know what the default kind of temperament is of this guy. He seems pretty agitated when you talk to him. When you do when you tell him the reason that you called, it's that he does get much more animated, and he does give you some pretty good advice. If you did have to do it, the next time you run your simulator, you would get a +2 to your roll, because he gives you some really good insight into what was needed, and some strategies for like limiting field of fire for some of those heavier weapons, and for just some useful 3-dimensional piloting things.
Maybe I can get Laris on the call, or like listening, or I'll just.
No one's seen Laris since last night. He went out last night and hasn't come back.
Okay.
You can certainly get him on the comm, bud, but
I'll make sure I record it, or at least recording this so I can for my future elucidation. So I say, is everything all right, sir?
It's fine. Typical civilian ship issues. Nothing to worry about.
Yes, of course, bureaucracy. There's so much bureaucracy here at the floating palace. It's unbelievable. It's like if they're stuck in the, they're stuck in the 6th century or something.
Though, I suppose, in the Navy, hurry up and wait is hardly a new experience, eh?
This is true. We have been delayed. There seems some sort of queue for leaving this place. I don't know. I don't know if there's any. I have not heard any security issues, but of course we're not privy to that kind of stuff.
Really? They've told you you're delayed in your departure?
Yes.
Curious. Well, if there's nothing else, I should get back to it, but if you have more questions, I hope those pointers are helpful for you.
Yes, they definitely are.
And we'll do that game of Conquest.
Yeah, we should. Maybe at the next port of call, or if we are delayed even longer.
I will mark, so we will be mindful of your next, when we next pick up your transponder.
All right.
Safe travels.
You too.
And is off. So yeah, he does both the combination of dealing with someone he likes, who is also military, and getting to talk about something that he doesn't not only know a great deal about, but he seems to enjoy quite a bit. That has improved his mood. But yeah, he definitely seemed more, and again, more anxious, I think is the correct thing. This isn't, he was saying at the end of the call that, he's annoyed by, civilian whatever. Annoyed is not the vibe you got from him. Annoyed is sort of his default setting. That was definitely, he seemed to be worried about something, and the enthusiasm he had in diving into what you guys were talking about suggests he was looking for some kind of, thing to take a mind off. So what he had said at the end there is likely very much the truth. He appreciated the...
Yeah, so they either, of course, the delay. They're waiting for this person. So there's been a delay, and it's probably unexplained. Yeah, or they're not being let to leave.
Right.
Well, he didn't say they weren't being allowed to leave. He said that they were waiting on civilians. That's all.
Okay.
And he did sound surprised when you said that you were being held up.
Yeah, we kind of are.
So, anything else you guys wish to do before dinner? Alonso is already,
ready to go now.
6 figures deep, as it were.
He's probably finding some bottles of wine to bring to the dinner now.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he probably wouldn't bring anything. He would assume that everything would be there, provided.
Right.
It's also would be it would either be just a like a show of ignorance or a show of just like exceptional bad judgment to think you need to bring a guest to, like, bring a little gift to a royal audience the way that you would to like a house party or like a dinner party.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, there's very few people who you know, see King Chuck and bring like, well, I brought some you know, olive loaf. So
Yeah, totally.
Then why don't we take, we're already at mid-session, it's because we did start late. Why don't we take our mid-session break now, and we'll come back and we'll see what everyone's going to be wearing for dinner. For those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
What? Who?
All right. I hope everyone has an appetite because it's time for dinner.
Oh, no.
So, how do you guys wish to approach dinner? Are you trying to sneak anything in? Are you going unarmed? Just dressed to the nines or what?
Yeah, definitely dressed nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Golden. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you're wearing your dress blues again?
Yeah,
Pinker?
that's fine. Mhm.
Okay. Laris, same outfit as last time, or are you going to get something new in the course of your gallivanting earlier today?
No, I think it'll just be the fresh cut flowers.
Okay.
Or the fresh flowers, whatever the tradition
that-
is here, offering flowers.
That's all you're wearing is a fresh cut flower.
Yeah. It'll be a memorable dinner.
I think so. Are you also painted blue? If so, I think I have an Olympic event I can think of.
Oh, my goodness.
Dr. Ilias?
I think he'll probably have picked up something at Rokunda's Bazaar, paying homage to sort of the Sindalan roots of Drinax. So still like within his usual style, but with like maybe some color themes or some sort of accents on the clothing, would sort of pay homage to the
Yep.
Drinax's proud Sindalan heritage.
So it's probably very like maroons, and the materials in all likelihood would be the thing like velvet or faux velvet, whatever is. I keep like the lens that I think of these because of the illustrations they've got is like late 60s, early 70s, either sci-fi or Doctor Who, where it's got that very sweeping, or curved angles or curved lines aesthetic to it. Lots of sashes that are unnecessary. So, and then Alonso?
Yeah, probably just his classic outfit that he's got, his leather jacket, and he's not as fancy as everyone else with their uniforms, but he's got some nice button-up shirts.
Okay. Then the four of you make your way to the apartments. You are led through into the actual palace itself, or the palace complex, and you are not brought to. You're brought to a room that you have not met before. The flowers are taken from you, Laris, before you're going in.
Yeah.
You're fairly certain you went through at least one or two scanners, and you definitely passed more of the Star Guard than you had previously seen. And it's actually it's not part of the actual interior. It's a smaller, more intimate, and less official patio that you are. There's no doubt some high tech that's involved here, because when you step out, there's not all you can hear is the sound of the wind and the sound of the soft music that is being piped in to hear the sounds of the city itself, and whatever is passing overhead. All of that is drowned out. Because of where this is positioned as well, it largely just has basically a view of the setting sun. So it is a really quite, if you were to want to experience a feeling of having dinner in the clouds, this is about as close of an experience as you possibly could ask for. There does appear to be a bar that is attended by a servant, but there is no sign of the princess or any other royalty as of yet. What do you guys do? I mean, Alonso, I know what you do, but...
Look for a drink?
Yeah.
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 I guess politely wait.
Okay. Alonso has made his way to the bar, it sounds like.
Dr. Ilias, you could do
I think so. Yeah.
Dr. Ilias, the way the table is set is consistent with your past experience with kind of space royalty as well, so you're likely in for quite a extensive dinner. And Anchor, you had a feeling that the dinner that you had with Alonso's friend the other night, Captain Sue, that her spread was maybe one of the best meals you've ever had. This really makes it look like, a dinner out of a takeaway bag by comparison. It's really quite something. So, if you guys just kind of, mill around in silence while Alonso collects a drink, it's about 15 minutes before finally the princess arrives. And of course, this is your guest here. Where is she? Probably under P, right? Yep. There we go. And Princess Rao arrives. Princess Rao is once again dressed in a very elaborate. Her hair, starting at the top, is held up in some kind of like lattice work, it seems, to give it kind of to call it a bouffant is not really to do it proper justice because of the textures and whatnot that is, into the actual hair. It looks like there are fibers and things that have some kind of what they seem to do is almost give it as if the hair itself is being carried gently on the breeze. her outfit, while she has worn something more serious and somber inside, it actually, the light colors from the top are, you know, almost like where you would see the clouds disappearing into kind of the atmosphere, light and then blue as it goes down, fading to the bottom in a vibrant color of blues and orange, or blues of pinks and oranges, where a sunset may go in. And the material all seems to move as if it has the kind of silk quality to it, where it's got a weight to it, and it has it carries movement through it quite well. So it really it has almost the look of watching a full day's passage across the sky, but through a cascade of water. And she makes her way in. She has the same kind of inscrutable smirk on her face as she walks in. My apologies for my delay, gentlemen. I trust that you found your ways to keep yourselves occupied.
Sure, we all stand at this point if we weren't already.
Alonzo, I'm assuming, is like Riker style, you know, stepped over the back of a chair and...
Yeah, sits down at the table.
Yeah. So everyone, she says to please, no need to rise. You are not my subjects. And her eyes kind of look over as if to say yet, but she does not say that. Have you helped yourself, please? We have access to my father's deepest corners of his wine cellar. It would be a shame to justify the effort that was done. It was almost viticultural archaeology with the age of some of these bottles. She goes over and requests something and gets a glass of wine from one of the servants, but it has again, like unnecessary bit of technological accoutrement where she's carrying a little like sensor or something, but the wine glass itself hovers above where there is no stem. It also means that she can, when she turns to talk to you guys, can let go of the platform, and it hovers there as if holding her glass in air. There are some who would consider those who force a princess to drink alone would consider that insubordination, if not just simple rudeness. And she gestures to the bar.
Elias will go and or have a drink.
Okay.
Yes, I love
Follow suit.
Okay.
One more can't hurt.
Mr. Centauro, you are I had a feeling you may be a kindred soul. She then makes her way over to the table and kind of waits at the head of the table for where you guys are going to collect your drinks. And it's a very relatively small table, but it is in the shape of kind of a teardrop with her at the head of the table.
Yeah.
You each collect whatever drinks you want, make your way back, and then she waits for you to get to your chairs, then sits herself down. Please, be seated. Then, you all seem to have fared well in our exchange. No injuries, I take it?
No physical injuries.
No.
Oh,
no
along,
splash from the plasma. No.
I hear that such things can be very upsetting up close. Did you feel a wave of heat? It's said to nearly be as hot as an engine on a starship.
It wasn't pleasant.
But then such tasks rarely are. tell me, why and what did you hope to achieve by speaking to them? She casually takes a sip of her wine as if she just asked you about, like, why you chose to buy a house in a certain neighborhood. Gentlemen, we can arrange for more drinks to be brought if that would assist with loosening your tongues.
Oh dear.
Dr. Ellis will look at her. He hasn't touched his drink yet. He has a glass, but he hasn't actually taken a sip yet. I would say, I think partially because we don't all have your moral fortitude in dealing with these matters.
Is there any tone to the way that he delivers it that is judgmental at all, or is it meant to be deferential?
He really can't help himself, but having dealt with like the pharaohs of the mock, there's possible like with the way he sort of emphasizes moral, not necessarily to like criticize her fully, but to make it like he had obviously strong reservations as a doctor against this end. So there's probably a little bit of
so the
smile in Laris's amber eyes as he turns slightly to Dr. Ilias.
Yeah. This is the most, passive-aggressive you've seen Dr. Ilias, I think, at any of these meetings with her or anyone else. And she's,
I like it.
A riposte from the doctor. I had my suspicions on you, too, Doctor. But I prefer not to spar. I look for truth tonight, which is why I've treated you to this dinner, this view, and my audience. Why did you do it? And what did you hope to achieve?
Sounds like the right thing to do.
And it proved most successful for a moment.
Anchor?
Yes, ma'am.
I trust you had an unobstructed shot from your vantage.
I did, and I was going to take it, but then your deathbot interrupted.
Oh, it was
as soon as they threatened, which they did in a veiled way. But also, I think less risk if we could do it peacefully and not injure any, I guess, collateral damage. But
you speak of the difference in morals, Dr. Ilias, and this is perhaps one manner. Those who do not carry such a heavy burden think only in the terms of the immediate. You rarely consider the big picture and the long view.
Most of my training is to consider precisely that.
A play on your astronomy studies, Laris. Very clever. She toasts towards you, and the glass drifts forward, and you hear a clink sound from her glass and yours from further down the table. And she takes a drink.
I will sort of.
Yeah. Then, how, if you did consider it, did you expect me to react? I thought that we had made our desires clear.
I think you were unequivocal.
That is so good to hear. I would be so disappointed if my intention and desires were misunderstood or were unclear. The first course is here. Wonderful. And the servants bring the meals in, set them, the first, course, sets them down for you, and then they go away. It is, in spite of being exposed to the elements, in spite of being as far up, there is something that is maintaining the temperature up here too. It is a perfect, comfortable temperature to be sitting, even with her shoulders bared as the princess does. You still have not answered my question. What did you think you would gain? She is eating as she's asking this, like as if she's just...
A good night's sleep?
The morals. Yes, I forget. Can't be so easy when you have so few other matters to weigh on such things.
Or indeed, so few morals.
Laris.
If you permit us a question.
Of course.
Why did you do it?
You think, and she looks shocked. I mean, she looks faux shocked. You suspect...
We all smile at her faux shock.
Yeah. You think that is twice that you have referenced, directly or indirectly, that I would have access to such a rare treasure as a Sindalan deathbot. I prefer to think of him as Harrick. He was a gift from my father. You may remember Prince Harrick is her brother. So she named her deathbot after her brother in a coma.
Nice.
I hope you all appreciate that we triple-checked the targeting sensors on Harrick before he was made use of. Notwithstanding the squeamishness that you find at doing such tasks, I do value your services and your capabilities. It would have been a shame had you been, well, whatever happens to a body when it is hit by a plasma bolt. I suspect you may have more insight into the medical particularities of that, Dr. Ilias. Takes another bite of the...
I have treated plasma wounds before. None this serious.
Oh, indeed fatal, I would hope. Another bite. So. I trust that... How do you feel you have achieved the task that I had asked of you? Another idle bite. This is quite delicious.
We were assuming that you would tell us exactly that.
I did ask you a question, and it is quite rude to ask a royal a question in return rather than give an answer. Another bite.
I feel we all got what we wanted in the end. Maybe not the way we wanted it, but we got what we wanted. The girl is safe, and your desires were executed.
A joke. Indeed. Laris?
Madam, going into this, our primary objective was to secure the girl, and we did that with the least potential for collateral damage. If things had gotten out of hand, then things would have gone differently. But our secondary objective was to eliminate the Jordani threat. But well, he took care of that for us, so I appreciate that. But again, our primary objective was to secure the girl.
That is a man in that in a uniform such as yours, I can expect, would think of things in such a way. And Laris, you have yet to answer my question. Do you feel you have completed the task that I had set for you? This is quite good.
The operation was successful.
Alonso. Oh, I'm trying to think. Does she know that you're psychic?
Oh,
I'm trying to remember. I don't think you've admitted to it. And I don't think you included her in the planning for it.
Told her. Yeah, I don't think I told her or anything like that.
So, you elected to not bring your telepathic detective with you to this meeting.
That's right.
It's a curious decision. Why? And she gestures. She's finished with her meal, so her appetizer, your appetizers are all taken away by servants.
Well, we assumed that any Zodani sent into the field would be very powerful psychics, and why bring someone who is not well equipped to handle the power imbalance to this meeting?
But who among you would match their... Alonso, are you admitting something?
No, of course not.
Of course not, indeed. I trust that you have not... And she kind of gestures at her head. That would be a grave intrusion. You're thinking of the scanners you went through now.
Right.
Something caught in your throat, Mr. Santoro. I believe you do have a drink before you.
Oh, maybe it's just a piece of flesh.
From what I understand, and Dr. Ilias, correct me if I'm wrong, there would be very little left after a plasma.
Oh, not from that. Just from biting my tongue, man.
More jokes! Oh, I knew this would be fun, but... Our second course is here. And it's brought in and set down before you guys. Good. What about you, Alonso? Do you feel that you have completed the task that I had requested?
The death of the Zodanis? Is that what you requested?
Is that what I requested?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you want us to say.
What did you think was happening then, Mr. Centauro?
We were rescuing a girl. Done. Complete. So yeah, I think we're done.
I did not... I think I understand why you operate without an editor any longer, Mr. Santoro. You seem to have a great deal of difficulty taking instruction.
Yes, you're right.
Oh, I think this may be a season off. I do apologize for the second course. Not as good as it could have been. Trust that this was an error on the part of the kitchen. It is not intended as a slight. I'm delighted to have you as my guests for dinner. He takes another bite. So,
I've already finished the course. I'm just ignoring her and just enjoying the food. And
Yeah.
I've kind of zoned out from her completely. It's as if she's not there. I'm clean enough. I'm clean enough that if she asks a question, I'll look up and pretend to be attentive. But actually, I'm just letting rip with the food. It's great.
The thing that's unfortunate is as you're finishing off the last food, when she makes that comment, you're like, "Fuck, she's right." Like it's good, but it's like there's something, when something's like just a little off from it, like a little too al dente or a little, too much salt. You're like, God damn it, she's right.
Yeah, I'm sure she is.
So she then says, "So where do you intend on going next? Where will your travels take you?"
Oh, to the third star on the left, and we're just,
I forget, you likely... I trust you attend very few royal dinners. You mistake my questions for banter. Trust not, I will not take offense. But it was not banter.
No, Mom, we do not know. We have not made a decision as to where our journey would be, which was what my comment, lightly spoken, was designed to evoke. But let me be more specific. I'm sorry.
Curious, because you had mentioned before that you do have a contract in which you are currently engaged that will take you to Thebes. Is that what you intended by third star on the left, Laris?
Correct. It's actually second, but I was using some poetic justice.
To cloak your untruth. I understand. The rest of you. Where do you intend on going?
We travel together, Mom.
Laris, you seem to be enjoying your meal. Perhaps your attention is better spent there.
Very good, Mom.
Doctor? Mr. Centauro, Anchor. Where will your journeys take you next?
You are quite right to point out that Phoebus is ultimately our current main goal, but I believe in terms of immediate next destinations, I think we were planning on visiting Torpol.
Oh, interesting. I hear it is lovely there. I have traveled to... sorry, I actually can't remember what she has traveled to somewhere recently. Marduk. It was unpleasant. And it may surprise you to learn she's gone to... Marduk is the place that is... it's not really much to see there. The surface of Marduk is very much like the surface of Drinax in the sense that it was subjected to orbital bombardment. And there are... what do you call it? Corporate interests there. Gidico. We're everywhere. Gidico is there, but it's curious if she would say she was at Marduk. It's not like... There's nothing to see there, so...
Would you recommend it? I've not been before myself. I'm still fairly new to this part of the space.
I cannot recommend the surface much. And I would avoid its neighboring systems. Those out of Okma can be most disagreeable. Though with the armaments on your vessel, should prove a deterrence. I think you guys would, anyone who's traveled in here would likely know that she's referring to the, like, fucking pirate, or basically space Vikings that come out of Okma. They have cobbled together ships that attack those, and very rarely are they able to get further than like Marduk or I can't remember the other system. There's one more system over from that. Mm-hmm. But what the hell was she doing on the surface of Marduk? Like, that's not. It's inconceivable that someone in her position would go down there, and it's not like Thebes has. It's not a place where there's a lot of reasons to go on the surface either, but there's at least game hunting there that may attract someone at that. There's nothing like that on Marduk, as far as you're aware of. Well, and beyond those immediate travels, once you complete your task, what do you wish for your futures? Dr. Ilias, an accomplished physician such as yourself, you wish to continue traveling, gallivanting around the galaxy? Mr. Centauro, are you continuing to travel rather than write an anchor? Are you truly satisfied in piloting a vessel as stock, as a trader?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if it had more guns, but, you know, it is what it is. We do what we can on a small scale.
I've been inspired by your Scholar's Tower somewhat, I think. Spend a lot of time in one place, so I'm enjoying the travels and getting to meet new people and experience new cuisines. But maybe ultimately some teaching, passing on the knowledge I've gained would be something I'd be interested in.
Fascinating. And from your experience, your previous experience, it's a great deal that you could share, particularly with the treatment of genetic disorders.
Indeed.
I hear you had a particular interest in the epidemiology catalog. What was your interest in that, Dr. Elias?
Oh, someone reminded me of, and I'll just give her the full background of the plague and leaving aside anything about Peerless Passage, just like the medicine, the research, probably going into a little bit too much detail, like too sort of nerdy.
Yeah.
Which he seems to be generally enjoying and momentarily forgetting the whole, Scorpion's nest he's currently in.
Yeah. So she listens quite intently. Fascinating. I did not realize that was an area of interest to you. And did you, out of character, did you ask, did you mention that Professor Doherty is going to be coming here, or?
No, I think Dr. Ellis would have conveniently forgotten, not mention that. He would just have said it came up in conversation. That's why he was doing some research. He has some time to kill. He won't mention that it's been sparked by Peerless Passage and Professor Doherty coming here.
Yeah. I think, and she gives no indication, like in the course of the whatever follow-up questions she may have, she gives no indication that she's aware that he is coming as well. And what of you, Mr. Centauro? What do you wish for your future?
Well, it's travel and write. This is going well for me in most cases. Adventure, that's why I set out. I've truly found it.
Until your dying day, then?
Well, until I write a great novel that spans the consciousness of the universe, well, yes. Continue to travel and find adventure. Here I am, dining with a princess. Life couldn't be any better, could it?
It's am I right, Jeff? He probably says it a little louder than he intended to give an indication as how, he's a little drunker.
Yeah, he's a little bit drunk.
Yeah. So she laughs at that. And he says, and you, Laris, you are a new face. I had the opportunity to meet these individuals before, as did my honored father. Are you a passenger yourself, or, as seems to have been represented, a member of the crew?
Correct, Mom. I'm just a simple crew member.
And what do you see for your future? You're very far from your people.
For now, just to keep flying.
And you are satisfied to be traveling on such a modest vessel?
I'm in the best of company.
Apart from Dr. Ilias, and your novel, Mr. Santoro, I am surprised by the lack of ambition. But perhaps that will come with time.
She surely knows we're not going to tell her or give her the pleasure of that. But she's playing.
Then, the girl and your passenger, the psychics, what will happen to them now? And she gestures and lets the second course be taken away.
I'll just grab an extra bit of vegetables off the plate before it goes.
Servant gives you the look of like it's garnish, man. Come on.
It's hungry work. I understand that she will be returned to her family.
And how? Will you be transporting her? And your passenger? Will it be arranging? I ask because if they will be guests of my father's city, it's good to know when there are wanted individuals among them. Will you be taking? It sounds as if you are heading forward with your...
I believe Mr. Chase is making arrangements for their passage.
Good. Please, if I can be of any assistance in that, extend that opportunity to Mr. Chase. Or invitation. I am aware of your displeasure at how this matter resolved, but trust that I share in your concern for this girl. I would not see her harmed or misused. And if the intent is to see her home safely, what I can do to see that effected, I will be happy to prevail on my father to ensure that that is done.
It's much appreciated.
No thanks is required. She's back to her cheerier demeanor. The thought of what those creatures did, it is unforgivable, and likely one that she is unlikely to ever forget. It may not seem it now, but the memories of seeing those monsters brought to justice may be more comforting in time than knowing that they are still walking the stars. And she takes a sip. Oh, this is quite good. This is what we shall have with dinner. And she says to the servant, and the servant goes away. I think yes. It is a flight of fancy, but royalty allows us to do so. your passenger and the girl, they shall be guests of the court. They will have the full protection of the wing guard. There will be no repercussions from our actions upon her. If the consulate wishes to respond, they can bring their concerns to my father's court.
We shall happily and gladly convey your invitation. When she called the Zudani monster, she seemed sort of quite vehement. Do we get a sense of that's part of her, like, persona, the show she's putting on, or was there a moment of
No.
those are some actual strong views she's holding due to like the history of Drinax? Or
There's been I'm not sure what impression you drew from her when you first told her about your intents and what was going on. The fact that this kid was the subject of this, kidnapping, it did seem to embolden her into, or prompt her into action in a way that her usual bandying about was not the case. You may also recall that she unquestioningly and unreservedly gave you guys full support for whatever you needed to do back and through customs with this. Notwithstanding with how things ended up, she has done nothing but offer everything she could in order for you guys to get this girl back. She did make it clear that she wished them dead. But it does seem that she has put a contingency in place that was like, does that speak to either her distrust of your abilities, or did she expect that this would happen?
I mean, she may have regarded it as a possibility, which she would ensure did not happen.
And
it seems to be the most likely.
Yeah, and in answer to your original question, yeah, like it did before, it seems an unguarded moment from a fairly guarded person. That she genuinely was like, fuck those people. And when a princess says, fuck those people, they generally get fucked.
That's what comes out,
Yeah. Just so.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. The main course. Good. And for those who abstain, we can de-alcoholize the wine. And she sits down, but you must, the pairing. The misstep of the second course will be long forgotten with a meal of this. And Laris, I'm unfamiliar with your people's appetites, but you certainly seem to have one today. We have ensured extras for you.
Very kind, Mom.
What kind of host is anything but kind to their guests?
Just so.
So the meals are set out in front of you guys. There is the wine, and comes out again in the kind of floating glasses thing. Good. Well, then you are off to assist yet another Aslan in finding his errant son. Do you expect this one to be as notable as the last you accompanied? who you brought here under our noses. You thought that lost on me, did you not? He must have been in your ship the entire time. Forgive me, Laris, this predates your joining the crew. When your crew members last traveled through my father's city, they had concealed on their ship a stowaway.
Not a stowaway, a valued passenger that we had
Oh,
engaged to keep, which we did.
And it seems that, I confess, I know I've had only passing acquaintance with many Aslan, but it did seem as if by delivering your passenger in the manner in which you did, it did prevent a great deal of tumult among their people on their side of the border.
I think that Alias will phrase it like, which, as you have already highlighted, now with the benefit of hindsight and the longer view, absolutely. But when we were hired to transport the passenger, as can be the case for us, we were very much focused on the immediate problem in front of us rather than the long-term view that someone like you might hold over what repercussions there might be for our actions.
But you did admirably follow the instructions directed from one who did have the long view. I must confess, Dr. Ilias, we are quite pleased. When the lion roars, it is rare that Drinax does not hear it. It serves our interest for them to be silent. So we are grateful for the outcome of your events. No doubt a harrowing task. Though you have made my father question whether deep scanning is more appropriate on some ships. Forgive me, I am not as adept with jokes as what you are. It was intended as one. And she once again toasts, and as she moves her glass forward, you can each hear on your own glasses, tink, as if she has clinked your glass.
I'll take a big swig.
Yeah, a faint smile from Laris.
Then, tell me, what do you hope to find in your next trip? More excitement? Is this another... Trust me, I ask out of interest. I have the utmost of discretion. Is it another lost son that you seek? These Ihate that seem so inclined to causing trouble in the Reach?
Yeah, this is David. Yes, I believe we know that it's another Ihate who went missing, right?
Yeah, he is another Ihate.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Tila Toral was betrayed and whatever else. It's not clear what's going on with this guy, but it does kind of have a fail son vibe, I think, from what you guys have learned thus far. Like, who picks the planet that has, you know, other lions that are hunted for sport on it as the place you go and conquer?
Right.
As you say, I believe this one is a lot less consequential. But the concern of his father is not less valid.
Indeed. I have none myself, so I cannot speak for the failings of children. But I am familiar with parents whose sons disappoint. And you guys can see there's a bit of a, like, just for a split second, one of the servants is kind of like, eyes go to the other servant like, what? Oh boy. Good of you to seek this person out. What would this entail? Do you seek to just arrive and look around? Will you adopt guises once again? What goes into such a thing?
Well, truth be told, we, kind of ad hoc most of these things.
I imagine that operating under such circumstances with limited knowledge is a commonplace occurrence for such tasks.
Well, we have to adapt. We never know what we have a wide range of skills for a small group, and when we get there, we figure it out, and it usually works.
And when it doesn't?
Has it not worked before? I don't know. I'm trying to recall them.
Now, you guys have achieved everything you've...
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it might take a little time. It might take some reworking, but adapt. Maybe that should be our motto. Adapt and overcome. I like that.
There's a catchiness to it.
I try to do the clink thing with the glasses.
Tink, it works.
Yes.
She takes a drink of it. Good. Fascinating. And how long, I trust if you are successful, and why would you not be successful, in your operation, you'll be returning this individual?
Yes. I believe that's the goal.
If what I hear of Ihate is accurate, I suspect you may have tapped into a lucrative market of recovering the wayward sons of Aslans of means. If that is indeed the case, I wish you to know that my father's court and our spaceport are always open to you.
Thank you.
As you said, Doctor, the morals among those of my station have not the luxury of sentimentality. There is a time and place when distasteful but decisive action is called for. And I have not the luxury of sloughing such decisions off to others. However, your candor and the efforts you have undertaken for no compensation that I can identify. While I may not harbor such sentimentality, I value it when I see it in others. And gentlemen, your efforts to see my will done within the ability of your conscience to bear it is appreciated. And she gestures and she dismisses. She does a symbol and all the servants kind of leave, leaving only you guys and her. And she says, "You must understand. I cannot have anyone suspecting sentimentality. But if I have given offense in the means with which I effected what I thought was best, you have my apology." Was I untruthful on the pairing of the wine and the meal?
No, it is lovely.
They complement each other perfectly.
As is this evening. And she leans in. The secret is we shift the city so the sunset is always in view.
Mm-hmm.
Then, in the interest of candor, it is just us, boys. Have you questions for me?
Is there something we could do to repay your support, forbearance?
Oh,
And this lovely meal, of course.
Is there any chance I can give, without being seen, Dr. Ilias the hardest of stares? If I don't think there is, I won't. I'll just nod.
I usually the Laris, because he's probably still eating when everyone else is finished because he had the larger portion, so it's kind of a... She looks up and says, "It is very kind of you to offer, but I feel that you have done me as much of a service as what I may have provided to you. I think what you could do if your travels or if the opportunity arises to bring word back to the intercessor, I think it best that he know what transpired here. And I trust that you will be honest in the outcome of this. when you last brought his message to my father, he had made a proposal which we look on quite favorably. But if my actions if they result in the attention of this consulate, some of his plans may need to be accelerated, and he should be aware of that potential consequence. It also would be good for him to know that the Zodani are active here as well. If you could do that, I think I may owe you then. Though I suspect the intercessor will express suitable gratitude.
So that can be arranged.
Good. It will likely be some time before they realize what has transpired. And we are taking steps to ensure they do not. It should seem as if they have simply disappeared. I have a question for you, but first, I did open the invitation. It is just us. Any other questions?
I have none specific, but if you do have the recipe for this fondue, I would absolutely be delighted to receive it.
I am certain that we can find ways of securing the secret from our cook. My father does have gravity dungeons.
I see.
Any others? Then, what do you think will happen with this other ship? The one that you found your way onto, Laris. The...
Bonhomme.
Correct. The Bonhomme.
Is that a question we have? I'll turn to my colleagues. Is that a question we have considered, colleagues? It is, of course, not specifically part of the operation, but it is a reasonable question, of course.
I would assume it would be allowed to leave as a known associate asset, or however it would be termed, and kept an eye on.
My father's reach at present is limited, but we will... Perhaps the intelligence that you recovered, that may assist in our efforts. If we are aware of any of these other vessels in service to the Zodani, if they find their way to my father's starport, rest assured, we will be mindful of its passengers. But this Bonhomme, I trust there is no reason to think them directly agents of the consulate as well? Or are they proxies? I understand they are ex-imperial military.
Yes, this is true. it's hard to say. Proxies is probably a better term as opposed to agents. But I do wonder where they were going. Maybe they were going outside of the borderlands towards Jodani space. I think, right? Because they're supposed to pick up Evie and then take her somewhere, right? So.
Yes. And whether they knew what or whom they were transporting or not, it would be unfair to punish them directly without... We cannot simply vaporize everyone.
Laris will try not to look surprised as he tucks into the corners of the fondue. So just very tasty.
But they find themselves now with 3 berths and no passengers. I believe I have their passenger then. I believe you are familiar with Mother Candle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Her welcome has certainly been worn out, and she is in dire need of finding somewhere else to go. I will make arrangements with the Banam, most favorable. They will see Mother Candle to her next destination.
This is out of character, but maybe vaporization would be more merciful.
Then... I scarcely have room for dessert. She touches something on her wrist, and the servants all come back in and begin clearing away the main course. Gentlemen, please enjoy the view and my father's cellars as long as you wish. I fear I must retire. But, and she stands up. Those of you who don't stand up for her, a servant kind of kicks the back of your chair.
Just the same as her arrival. She stands up, we stand up.
Yeah. Then, I thank you for such an entertaining evening. And I will look forward to seeing you when you pass through my father's starport once again. Safe travels, gentlemen. And thank
you very much.
She turns and leaves, and you realize that the sun has finally actually set, and in keeping with it, her dress has transformed to now depict the starry sky, dark. And her hair has come down from the bouffant into something more casual as she leaves. She makes her departure, leaving you guys behind, and a wonderful dessert is served. How do you guys wish to spend the rest of your evening?
Should we have this boxed up for go? Or
Yeah, and these two, and he grabs a couple of the wines.
yeah, okay, a couple of wines. Have all this boxed up, please, if you don't mind. Cheers.
You find when you guys return to the ship, it seems as if someone has been keeping track, because you have a case of anything that you drank delivered to the ship already. And
Wonderful.
there is a tidy sum that has been deposited into your account as well from the court of Drinax. And bear with me a second here, I can tell you what that... Well,
I'm just Riftwater accounts.
seeing your... It's so rare that it goes up, right?
Recently, yes.
It would be 700,000 credits.
So fair. That is logged as.
Then, as you guys are returning, unless you have anything else further to watch as the stars come out above the skies of Drinax, if you rush to get yourself back, we'll pick up with you guys returning back to the ship. Mm-hmm. What do we close our session with? As you guys are coming back in and kind of taking your, undoing your neckties and whatever else.
Sure. Well, until we get to the ship, there'll be a light and charming conversation between us about what a charming dinner that was, and how delightful the princess was, and
there is behind you
a
drone.
How charming, and what a wonderful host. Yeah.
And as soon as you reach through and are debriefing in the, you find for one waiting for you all these cases of booze. What do you guys do? What do we end our session on for your?
Alonzo passed out on the floor of the lounge, probably.
I thought Alonzo did tremendously well, actually.
Oh man, he was like, he knew not to say anything because he was going to get us in trouble and get us possibly on the wrong side of that evening, but
yeah. It's all too easy.
He only made one or two comments that were close.
Yeah, me too, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel, gentlemen. I really don't know how you feel. My sense of things is that I have not the sentimentality to ever set foot on Drinax or the floating palace ever again. But, I don't want to be hasty.
Was a little bit like dancing with a scorpion while you're blindfolded, but
yeah,
we're still alive. We're here. The food was delicious.
Food was delicious, and we were well paid.
And it sounds like we're allowed to leave.
Sounds like
which,
Yeah.
Oh, you're muted, Carl. Demo?
We should take advantage of all this free booze.
Mm-hmm.
And retire to the. So, I don't know if he's passed out. He gets to the point where he's passed out, but he will drink with Alonzo if that's what we're going to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this was just like at the end of it all, he's going to be passed out. He wasn't immediately passed out. Yeah.
Right. So now
I think. So go on, Carla.
Yeah. So then I probably bore Alonzo with my additions to the conspiracy board. And it's the Chodani branch of the conspiracy board, Alonzo, and maybe I'll go back to the Imperium now that we have this Captain Osmond and the Pronam, and it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
And then we drink another bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Dr. Ilias, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I think uncharacteristically for Dr. Ilias, he will actually join Anchor and Alonzo for an actual drink. Not like getting passed out or, it'll be one glass, but he'll actually have but he's normally a teetotaler. He'll once he sort of sits down and all of the stress and the adrenaline wears off, he'll probably just actually have one of the. So here's to getting to fly another day.
Then, with that, guys, we bring our session to a close. So everyone gets 1 XP. And for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 12 of the Pirates of Drinax arc of our campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, or if you'd like the recipe for Princess Rao's favorite fondue, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have a channel there dedicated to our Traveler campaign, as well as most other games and campaigns we run on the channel, as well as finding a group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat. There's some terrific, there's a bunch of different channels over there. There's a terrific, knowledgeable, helpful, and friendly community that has built up over the years there, and you're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Wait, guys, we're caught in a loop! Oh my god. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games, and Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, including the offers of pre-orders and such, and free shipping within the continental United States, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, such as, I don't know, the Dark Eye RPG. There is also, if you don't have in stock in their extensive catalog something that you're looking for, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code HAPPYMUSEYEAR. It's listed down below. It's all one word, easier to type than it is to say. It'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more through their website, and that'll change as of April 15, 2025. After that point, just come back to, if you're listening after that point, just come back to one of our more recent videos, and we'll see what the current discount code is there, again listed in the description of the video. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart crew. So Graham, Carl, David, and Jeffrey, thank you so much for playing today. And Graham, you got to have 2 birthday dinners today. One with the family and one with royalty, so that is good. Again, happy birthday to you. We'll be back on the starport of the floating city of King Oleb in 2 weeks' time. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our stalwart travelers are encountering when they're just trying to have a dinner and say goodbye to a princess. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.